Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse, and in today's segment we're going to discuss what to do when your medic goes down. As you can probably tell right now, my voice is a little bit wonky compared to what it normally is, and that's because I've been laid out with the flu for a good long while. Hence the subject matter of this video. Now, I was thinking about this while I was writhing in pain here on the floor a few days ago, and I thought, I must tell my subscribers, I must tell my followers the importance of having someone designated to take care of the medic if they go down. Now, in a disaster type of situation, this becomes that much more important. But as a practicality, we need to do this every day. As a normal happening way of American life, usually it's Dr. Mom. It's Mom who takes care of people. Usually, not all the time. But when Mom gets sick, who takes care of Mom? That's something that we need to address here. And in my case, I have family and friends who are taking care of me, you know, while I'm sitting here laid out on the floor, thinking in my mind, oh good Lord, is this going to be what does Patriot Nurse in? Is the flu that I contracted at Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, is this going to be the final straw? Because, you know, everything gets that much worse when you're actually, you know, in the sickness. You're sitting there like, what is life? I'm not going to make it. When we're looking at taking care of people, it's not enough just to have one person in your group that's designated as a medic, right? Because let's just say that you were in my group, okay? If Patriot Nurse goes down, who's going to take care of her? And if that person goes down, who's going to take care of both of them? So something to consider here is, what are your contingency plans? This is a question right now. This is me asking you, what are your contingency plans? And leave me a comment here in the boxes below as to what your contingency plans are if your medic goes down. The person who is designated as the primary care provider for your group in the event of a disaster. Also, you know, what steps have you taken to make sure that the person whose primary job it is to problem solve medically, what steps have you taken to care for them should their mental faculties not be all there? For those of you who follow my Facebook page, I put a comment up there on my Facebook page like, it's really interesting listening to yourself whenever your fever gets high and you start having conversations back and forth with the person in your head. You know, I wasn't like hardcore delirious or anything, but I could tell when my fever started getting up. My fever actually at one point it got up to 102.8, which was, that's not something to ignore with an adult. But I started noticing, I was like, I'm not thinking straight here. I'm not able to problem solve, and my parents, actually, my mom is a pretty stout woman mentally, and so she was sitting there telling me, okay, well, you know what to do, you do this, you do this, you do this. And everybody when they're sick, they need a little bit of mothering, they need a little bit of care. So I would encourage you just to think through this, right? To think through what you're going to do and what plans that you've got in place for this. For me, one second, hold on. When I had people who were coming over and bringing me stuff, I didn't want to infect them clearly, so I ended up donning a mask here. This is an N95, and clearly it's been used here. The little snap broke off. But in order for me not to infect other people, I was making sure that I was covering and not breathing on them, and also washing my hands religiously. So, you need to ask yourself some questions here, you know, what are for different contingencies. This for me was easy because it was respiratory and I'm well prepped for respiratory stuff. But, you know, it doesn't have to necessarily be respiratory. It can be digestive in origin. There's lots of different disease processes that can knock your medic out. And it's reasonable to assume that if it puts most of the group at large at risk, then it also puts them at risk too. So make sure that there are multiple people in your group that are cross-trained, that also have competency in care. Yeah, I would submit to you that it's not enough just to have the medic and then the medic went to a class or a training seminar and then they cross-trained people. I guess I should talk about that in a different video, but just to be honest here, guys, I do have people who will come to class and then they want to go back and cross-train their group and they'll ask me about it. I mean, I can't stop people from doing that, but let me submit to you this. This whole notion of cross-training people assumes a level of mastery on the part of the student who has just taken this class. A student, somebody who has just taken the class, is going to take away from the class different things, but they're not going to have mastered the curriculum and they're not going to have mastered the skill sets necessary to impart the same level of competency to the rest of their group. So I know this was made popular in the book Patriot's Novel of Survival and the Coming Collapse. This whole concept of cross-training people was really popularized in that book, but I think there's a lot more to it than that. So I would submit to you that it's not enough just to have one person who's a nurse or an EMT or that person in the group who maybe has taught another person, okay, this is the basics of triage. You know, we need to have skills mastered here, and I would submit to you that you need to have multiple people with the same amount of training in your group to ensure that there's a little bit of cross coverage in case somebody goes down. So I hope that was helpful for y'all today. Thanks for bearing with me with my upper respiratory still. I'm recovering from it. I hope you enjoyed the video today. If you are interested in learning more about medical preparedness, let me encourage you to come as a group. A lot of my students who come to Medical Prep 101 and 201, they convoy from a whole bunch of different areas. I see this a lot. People are like, Patriot Nurse, it's a 3-hour drive. Well, yeah, most of my students drive a good ways to come to class, so you're not alone there. And if you make it a fun outing with your group, you know, 3-4 people come together, that really it increases the group cohesion, but also it's just a fun experience. It's something to do that's fun as a group. So check out all the schedule at the website, www.thepatriotnurse.com. I'd love to see you in class. Let me extend a personal invitation to you to come on out and bring your group and to learn some awesome skill sets. I hope it was helpful for y'all, and for now it's Patriot Nurse signing off, and I will see y'all later.